There's a truth so uncomfortable that some women will do anything to avoid facing it. They'll create elaborate stories, blame entire gender populations, and rewrite reality itself rather than confront one simple fact. It's not about aging. It's not about looks. It's not even about being alone. The truth that terrifies them more than anything else is this. They might be the reason they're still single. Not men. Not society. Not circumstances. Them. Let me explain why this truth is so devastating, and why avoiding it guarantees perpetual loneliness. The gap between public claims and private reality is massive. Publicly, you'll see posts about living my best life, and I don't need a man. But privately, it's a very different story. I counsel women who cry themselves to sleep wondering why nobody wants them, who check their phones obsessively hoping for a text that never comes, who pretend they're choosing solitude when solitude is choosing them. One client, a successful lawyer, 38 years old, posts constantly about female empowerment and independence. In our sessions, she admits she hasn't been held in 2 years, hasn't been on a real date in 18 months, goes to weddings alone, and leaves early because watching couples dance breaks her. But check her Instagram, you'd think she was living a movie. The emotional distress caused by unwanted solitude is real and crushing. It's the silence when you come home. The empty bed that feels bigger every night. The realization that if you disappeared, it might take days for anyone to notice. No one is checking if you made it home safe. No one cares what your day was like. No one is planning a future with you. But here's what makes it worse. Society glamorizes this isolation. Every magazine, every blog, every influencer tells women that being single is empowering, that needing partnership is weakness, that wanting love is settling. So these women suffer in silence, pretending they're thriving while dying inside, because admitting loneliness means admitting failure in the current cultural narrative. The cultural messaging actively denies women accountability for their situation. Modern narratives insist women are perfect by default. If she's single, it's because men aren't good enough. If she's struggling, it's because society failed her. If she's unhappy, it's everyone else's fault. This protective bubble prevents the self-reflection necessary for change. The forbidden question. Why are you still single? Triggers rage because it implies responsibility. It suggests maybe there's something she could change, something she's doing, or not doing that affects outcomes. But that can't be true because she's been told her whole life that she's amazing exactly as she is and any man would be lucky to have her. So instead, popular explanations emerge that remove all responsibility. Relationships harm women more than men. Really? Who initiates most divorces? Who typically receives custody, alimony, and assets? All the good men are taken. Strange how other women found them. Men are intimidated by my success. Is it your success? Or your attitude about it? These explanations persist not because they're true, but because they're comfortable. They protect ego. They avoid painful self-examination. They allow someone to stay exactly the same while expecting different results. It's easier to say men are trash than to ask, what am I doing wrong? I had a client who spent 5 years repeating these mantras. Men were intimidated by her PhD. Men couldn't handle her salary. Men were threatened by her independence. Then she watched her assistant, less educated, lower salary, equally independent, get married to a great guy. The cognitive dissonance almost broke her. Contrary to popular narrative, modern relationship dynamics often favor women. Emotional labor. Men are expected to be therapists. Domestic work. Many men do equal or more. Financial contribution. Still predominantly male. Legal protection, overwhelmingly female favoring. Yet the story persists that relationships are bad deals for women. Unrealistic standards push away perfectly good partners. Some women want a man who's strong but not toxic, successful but always available, confident but never argumentative, traditional but feminist, pays for everything but isn't controlling, leads but always follows her lead. That's not a partner, it's a customizable robot. The confusion deepens when men's feedback is rejected outright. A man says he didn't call back because she was rude to the waiter. The response becomes, he couldn't handle a strong woman. A man says she seemed emotionally unstable. The response becomes, Men fear women's emotions. Every piece of feedback gets reframed as male inadequacy instead of useful information. A male friend told me about a date where the woman spent 2 hours complaining about her exes, interrupted him constantly, and checked her phone throughout dinner. When he didn't pursue a second date, she told everyone he was intimidated by her confidence. No, he was repelled by her behavior. But she'll never know, because the truth is forbidden. The men are intimidated claim is usually self-delusion. Men aren't afraid of strong women. They're unattracted to masculine energy in feminine bodies. They don't fear success. They avoid combative attitudes. They're not threatened by independence. They just don't see the point in partnering with someone who broadcasts not needing them. The real reasons for long-term singleness are almost always internal. Ignored physical health, unaddressed emotional instability, bitterness worn like perfume, unrealistic expectations, unhealed trauma, undeveloped social skills. But admitting any of this means admitting imperfection, and that has become culturally forbidden. Here's an uncomfortable truth: appearance matters. Not perfection, but effort. Hygiene, style, presentation. Lifestyle choices matter. Partying every weekend at 35. No cooking. Skills but expecting marriage. Massive debt, but wanting a provider. An inability to maintain a home, but wanting to build one together. These aren't judgments. They're logical evaluations of partnership potential. Age matters too. Fertility windows are real. Men who want families factor this in. It's not cruel. It's practical. But saying it out loud triggers rage because it requires acceptance, not denial. Habits that repel quality men get justified. Constant social media validation seeking, backup male friends, exes still in the picture, drinking disguised as wine culture, emotional volatility reframed as passion. These patterns guarantee relationship failure, but acknowledging them requires change. Emotional instability gets rebranded as depth. I'm just very emotional. No, you're emotionally dysregulated. I'm passionate. No, you lack impulse control. I'm complex. No, you're exhausting. Men aren't avoiding your depth. They're avoiding your dysfunction. Discipline matters. In health, in finances, in emotions, in life. A lack of discipline is visible and predictive. Unpleasant behavior gets justified as authenticity, but authentically unpleasant is still unpleasant. Men aren't rejecting your authenticity. They're rejecting your behavior. Family goals matter more than many women realize. Not wanting children is fine, but it eliminates men who do. Wanting children urgently can seem desperate. Being unsure at 35 wastes everyone's time. Men factor this in quickly. Self-improvement isn't changing for a man. It's becoming someone worth choosing. Everyone improves for goals, careers, sports, skills. Why is improving for relationships suddenly offensive? Peer groups often discourage accountability. Any suggestion of self-improvement becomes victim-blaming. Any male feedback becomes gaslighting. These groups keep women stuck in cycles of blame that guarantee continued singleness. I've seen women transform their dating lives through honest self-assessment and change, losing weight, addressing mental health, developing real interests, changing attitudes. Same city, same dating pool, different woman, different results. The questions that change everything are simple and painful. Am I pleasant to be around? Would I date myself? What do I actually offer? These questions hurt because the answers matter. Most of what keeps women single is changeable. Habits, mindset, behavior, skills, discipline. But ideology blocks growth by framing accountability as oppression. Comfortable lies keep people stuck. Uncomfortable truth sets them free. Much of what holds people back is modifiable. Even age-related effects can be minimized through health, discipline, and vitality. But real change requires admitting that the current state is not working. Here's what some women don't understand. Men want to choose them. Men want partnership. Men want love. But they want it with someone who adds value, not extracts it. Someone who brings peace, not chaos. Support, not constant criticism. Warmth, not warfare. From the male perspective, long-term singleness is usually simple. If multiple men over many years have all chosen not to commit, the common denominator isn't men. It's like being fired from every job and blaming all the bosses. At some point, self-reflection becomes mandatory for different results. The protection racket of modern feminism blocks this realization. Any suggestion of female accountability is attacked. Any male standard is demonized. Any traditional value is pathologized. This protective bubble feels supportive, but in reality it prevents the growth necessary for partnership success. I counsel women drowning in this messaging who cannot understand their loneliness. They did everything they were told to do. Prioritized career, maintained independence, refused to settle. And now they're 40, single, childless, wondering what went wrong. The ideology that promised empowerment delivered isolation. Friend group reinforcement makes this worse. Misery loves company. Single friends keep each other single through bad advice, bitter perspectives, and sabotage disguised as support. You don't need him slowly becomes you don't need anyone, and eventually turns into, why am I alone? Social media intensifies the delusion, comparing real life to curated highlights, seeking validation from strangers, performing happiness instead of creating it, building an online persona while neglecting real personal development. The gap between digital projection and reality becomes impossible to bridge. Dating apps added the illusion of infinite options, which paralyzes choice. Why work on yourself when Prince Charming might swipe right tomorrow? Why address flaws when the next match might ignore them? Why choose good when perfect might be one swipe away? But perfect never arrives, and good eventually stops trying. Modern culture has developed an allergy to accountability. Everything must be someone else's fault. Every failure needs an external villain. But growth requires ownership. Change requires admission. Improvement requires acknowledging that the current state needs work. Some women wake up to this truth too late. After years of blaming men, society, timing, and circumstances, clarity hits, often around 40, when options narrow and reality becomes undeniable. Anger at men turns into anger at self, and sometimes into action. But so much time has already been wasted. The success stories all follow the same pattern. A woman admits she might be the problem. She seeks honest feedback. She makes concrete changes. She addresses internal issues. She develops real value. Suddenly, mysteriously, good men appear. Same world. Different woman. Different results. Resistance to this message is fierce. Some women are already constructing reasons why this doesn't apply to them. Why men are intimidated, why standards aren't too high, why change would mean betraying themselves. That resistance is the prison. The truth about male selection is that it's usually rational. Men aren't randomly rejecting quality women. They're avoiding specific behaviors, patterns, and traits that reliably predict relationship failure. Understanding and correcting these opens doors that once seemed permanently closed. Physical presentation matters, more than many women want to admit. Not perfection, effort. Fitness signals discipline. Style signals awareness. Grooming signals self-respect. These aren't shallow concerns. They're indicators of how someone manages life. Mental health matters. Men increasingly screen for emotional stability. Many have been burned by partners who use them as emotional regulation tools. Anxiety, depression, unresolved trauma, and personality issues must be managed before partnership. Relationships are not therapy. Social circles matter. Surround yourself with bitter, divorced women, and you attract men who expect bitterness. Surround yourself with stable, happy couples, and you attract men who want partnership. Your social environment signals your values and your future. Communication styles either attract or repel. Clear versus manipulative. Direct versus passive-aggressive. Calm versus explosive. Constructive versus destructive. Men are exhausted by emotional warfare disguised as communication, and drawn to women who can discuss issues without detonating the relationship. There is also a reality some refuse to acknowledge. Youth and beauty are female advantages that decline with time, while wealth and status are male advantages that often increase. Fighting this reality doesn't change it. Working within it does, but that requires strategy, not ideology. Time matters. Men can father children late into life. Women have a finite fertility window. This creates different urgencies and strategies. Denial doesn't erase biology, it only makes planning impossible. There's a difference between partnership and the princess model. Partners contribute in different but meaningful ways. Princesses expect service without reciprocation. Many modern women claim to want partnership while behaving like princesses. Men notice the disconnect and opt out. Skills matter more than degrees. Can you manage a home, handle money, cook, resolve conflict, support a partner, raise children? These aren't outdated expectations. They're relationship fundamentals. Some women have advanced degrees but can't sustain basic life skills. There's also projection. Many women assume men want what women want. Career success, independence, credentials, travel stories. Those things are fine, but secondary. Men primarily value youth, beauty, femininity, support, and peace. Offering what men don't prioritize while lacking what they do leads to predictable failure. Friends should intervene but rarely do. Your standards are unrealistic. Your behavior repels men. Your expectations don't match your offerings. But these truths get silenced by a version of sisterhood that enables dysfunction instead of correcting it. Generational wisdom is being lost. Grandmothers understood male psychology, developed real skills, and brought tangible value. That knowledge is dismissed as outdated by younger women who struggle to maintain relationships. The formula that works is simple. Become someone worth choosing. Develop real value. Address your issues. Bring more than expectations. Be pleasant. Show appreciation. Add more than you subtract. The fear beneath all of this is profound. Admitting responsibility means admitting years were wasted, pain was self-inflicted, loneliness was preventable, and change is required. That truth terrifies more than any external threat. But here's the hope. Acknowledgement enables change. Change creates different outcomes. Different outcomes make love possible. The truth that terrifies can also liberate, if faced honestly, without excuses. Women who face this truth and do the work find what they're looking for. Those who resist remain bitter, alone, and confused. The difference isn't luck. It's self-awareness followed by action. Some will feel attacked reading this. Good. That discomfort is recognition. Sit with it. Examine it. Use it. Because the alternative is years more of the same loneliness and frustration. Men respond immediately to genuine feminine improvement. When women develop traits men are biologically drawn to instead of fighting them, attraction follows. Not from all men, but from the ones worth having. Most female loneliness is preventable. A few internal shifts, some discipline, and honest self-work change everything. But the ideology that claims to empower women often traps them instead. I see the damage daily. Women in their 40s and 50s who bought the lie, blamed men for decades, avoided accountability, and now face aging alone, angry at the world but mostly at themselves. The younger generation still has a choice. Learn from the patterns. Accept reality. Make changes. Or join the growing population wondering where the good men went while refusing to ask why those men chose elsewhere. Reality is reasserting itself. Women who offer little while demanding everything are being passed over. Women who bring value are being chosen. Entitlement is collapsing under real-world consequences. Men aren't the enemy. Biology isn't oppression. Standards aren't discrimination. Preferences aren't prejudice. The sooner this is accepted, the sooner change becomes possible. The ultimate truth some women fear most is simple. You're single because of you. Your choices, behavior, attitude, and refusal to change. Accepting this changes everything, because what you control, you can change. The clock is ticking. Every year in denial is a year closer to permanent solitude. Every excuse builds another bar in a prison of your own making. The choice is simple, not easy. Face the truth and change, or avoid it and remain stuck. The mirror that reveals flaws also shows how to fix them. Some will change their lives after reading this. Others will change nothing but their excuses. The difference isn't circumstance, it's courage. And the deepest fear of all is realizing it was always fixable. But comfort was chosen over growth, ideology over reality, and blame over responsibility. That's the truth that terrifies. And the one that can set you free.